morning, gentlemen. My topic today is the demise of the European nations. I will use one other cliche from the English language, that is, the European nations are breathing their last in the oxygen tent. And despite the bravado being shown by the President of the European Union, she's going around all places. She's a wonderful lady. I think I like her very much. But she got a rebuff with China, and she couldn't argue with Trump on the trade deal, and Europe got the better of the trade deal, and France has said that this trade deal is the dark night for Europe. And again, the basis of the European downfall is going to be the superiority complex which they still have. See, there was a time when England and France ruled the world. Yes, they did. That was for 2 centuries. But then the empire was dismantled within just 3 to 4 years of the end of Second World War. And the European powers should ask themselves why it happened. Why did the British Empire collapse within 2 years after the end of World War II? And why the French tried to hold on to the empire, were badly beaten, defeated, and thrown out. And their empire finished within a decade of the end of Second World War. The reason was Adolf Hitler, and they antagonized him, and there was a death fight, rather a death wish, like we have those Charles Bronson's movies. I think it was a death wish of the European powers that they couldn't face up to Hitler, though they won. It was a Pyrrhic victory, but the European powers, England, France, and others, were so weakened, and Germany, of course, was destroyed, that they reached the end of the road, the end of the tether, and they lost their empires and they became non-entities. They still live in that old age, and they feel they are people who can dictate to the world. Now, look at their dealing with India. Basically, it is the EU saying that we're going to put sanctions on you because you're trading with Russia. Now, that is a very dangerous thing to do. When you are nothing in this world, militarily, the EU, which constitutes the major portion of NATO, is zero. It's being propped up only by the United States. And then the EU self-centered. Self-centered is they don't want to share the stage with any country. And for some reason, they've decided that Russia is the enemy. Now, they've been fighting Russia for a long time, since 1945. And I couldn't understand what was the reason behind it. The reason was very simple. They could not accept that they themselves have become zero as far as military power is concerned. And Russia was the bigger power. They thought they should be equal of Russia, and the only way they thought is that we could destroy Russia so that we can regain the glory. And you can't regain glory like that, You've got to have the power all over the world. And now, as you know, the French have been booted out of all their colonies in Africa. The Africans don't want anything to do with the French. In Indochina, they're a big zero, which was their colony. And look at England, completely on its last leg. And at the moment, pandering to a severe minority resurgence in their country. And Donald Trump has recognized it. They want to get the best of everything. They applied sanctions on India. Now, it's got no relevance. And now the EU chief went around the world and went to China to tell them to stop supporting Russia. I wonder why they are not told, EU told them, why are you supporting Ukraine? And what is your game that you want to ring Russia by NATO? You can't defeat Russia. You may remember Napoleon tried, Hitler tried, they failed. The Americans tried, they failed also. And now the situation is that Russia is not going to give up. It has realized that NATO wants the death knell of Russia. They want to finish Russia. And as I told you, it's not really clear why they want it that way, when their danger should be somewhere else. But they thought they could placate China. That is why, they're visiting China with folded hands, saying, please help us, please help us. But China is not in a mood. It's a firm ally of Russia, and China's interests do not lie with the EU. So the EU itself is a divided force as it is. France singing its own tune, the British trying to sing their own tune, and that is dance with the Americans and whatever the Americans say. And most of the other countries in Europe are in dire economic straits. I think there is some sort of recession on there also. And secondly, they are more worried about the demographic changes which are taking place in Europe. I think by the turn of this century, the European population would have dwindled and the minority populations there would have gone up and Europe would lose its character. So that is one of the very strange reasons which the British and everybody knows it's going to happen and they try to stall it by a show of bravado and keep the other countries unleashed, and it's not going to help. So Europe is in on its last legs. They may get the support of America because Donald Trump is not going to go away, is going to go away tomorrow, but he's still a man who is helping Europe. Why he's helping is because he himself is a racist. I've said it repeatedly. You go through his all entire policies, which are basically anti-Muslim and at the same time anti-Asian, anti-black. So this is a fact which we can't really brush under the carpet. But as far as the EU is concerned, they don't have the younger people to do the menial work. So they want somebody to come and do it. And when they get the people of the minority community, they want their rights. And that is where the problem comes in. Now, many countries, they are not getting any more uh, immigrants there. But then there are already a sizable low portion of them there. And in another 20 years, Europe will not be what it is now. Just mark my words. And it is about time that Europe realized its predicament. Despite saying that they are one country, they are not one country. They speak 20 languages, differences are there, and nationalism is also there in those countries. And all of them can't see the way England and France want to see the world. Those countries who are bordering Russia are scared. The Russians' military might is tremendous. And the way the EU is going, I think they are stoking the flames for World War III. Now, World War I and II, as you all know, the epicenter was Europe. They fought with each other and destroyed Germany and the Central Powers and later the Nazi power, the Axis powers. But it's going to be different now. Europe has again picked up the Russians as a bogey. Basically, the bogey is to unite the Europeans because there's no other ground to get united except to create the bogey that Russia is the power, Russia is going to come and occupy you, Russia will bring in so and things and all that, you know. So it is a sad commentary, but uh, the fact remains that when Russia was a monarchy, it was an ally of the British all the time, and they felt very happy with it right up to the First World War, till Lenin had that revolution. But after that, they've been anti-Russia forever. There are monarchies in Europe, Western Europe, England is there, Netherlands, so many countries. I think Norway and Sweden. But all these countries living in a past age. The past age, they thought they're very educated, more erudite than the other nations, and they thought their civilization is superior, that they think even now. That is the way, the feeling you get when you see the EU president moving around and strutting around the world. A wonderful lady, she's beautiful to look at, but that doesn't help anything. The fact remains that Europe is on its last legs. Economically, it's ruined. Demographically, it's going to face a great challenge in the years to come. Militarily, on its own, it can't fight a battle anywhere, and they're riding piggyback on the Americans. And it has to be seen whether America is also going to go to doom by trying to help Europe and thinking the way Europe does in treating with the world. Donald Trump, I think, has given Africa a very low importance, which is not a good thing. And China is something which the European powers or even America can't control. The biggest thing is the manpower. China and India have manpower of about 1,400 million people everywhere. And this is a big demographic build. And India has got a young population, young workforce. They're spreading over the world, and the Americans and the your EU now want to stop that. They want to stop the Indians coming there. That's a racial approach. And the British have always been racistic, but they try to show we are not. They want to give pamper to the Islamists in their own country. And the British, I think, are on their last legs. They're still dreaming of the old empire, which they had. But the empire is gone. England itself is facing a dissension. I don't know whether Scotland will remain part of England in time to come. But there will be more divisions in time to come, in the years to come. And NATO, as I told you, is going to die a natural death. I think, gentlemen, the British are now in the last legs, so are the French, and the Germans, who have faced 2 world wars and got destroyed, this time have allied themselves with England, France, and America in the hope that they're going to fight Russia. And people must remember that the British were destroyed, though they won the World War II, because they were facing Adolf Hitler. They decided they didn't want him. And it's the same thing continuing now. They don't want Putin, and they are fighting Putin. But it's like, trying to fight the dragon or the Russian bear. It's good. And once the Russian bear moves forward, Europe doesn't have anything significantly powerful to face the Russians on their own. And these countries must bear in mind that a nuclear war would be the end of European civilization. Some of the countries in Europe are so small that just a few thermonuclear bombs and that would they cease to exist in the world map, while America and Russia will still survive. So this thinking has not got into their minds. They still feel we are all powerful, and they're only riding piggy bank and trying to entice Donald Trump. Come on, sir, help us fight Ukraine. Ukraine is that important? I have not understood why it should be so important. Basically, the importance is not Ukraine. The idea is to destroy Russia. They think they're going to do it, and it's not going to happen. And it's going to be the reverse. And Europe, I think, is not going to be what it is as it faces destruction, which is going to be a self-created destruction for them. I hope you like this video, gentlemen. Please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends. Meanwhile, I'll close and say goodbye.